what brings you back to putting out zines? Like,
well, because like making other things takes more steps. I think that both of you and I like had a lot of, we continue to have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of ideas to collaborate together, but we're busy and like working to live and survive and things. And so I think we were like, let's just do something, let's just make a zine. And I think it's something that like, even though people are making zines less, we see them less, it's very easy to sell them, and it's very easy to distribute them, and it's very easy to get the word out about them, especially now with the internet. And so I think that is what brought us to come to make one together. I think we were just like, let's, you know, we were thinking about these grander projects often, but it was like, let's just do this thing, you know. Yeah. And also, like, Alison Bechdel is somebody who's, I mean, I think it fits with the form, because it's like Alison Bechdel's started with comics and went into like making more fancy books, and her aesthetic has like refined itself, but its root is in these like sketchy comics, you know, that she didn't know if she could draw all the characters the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think her process, she talks about her process really changing too. I want to go back to that, but I think when I think about making zines, I think about like having total control over what you're putting out, or like collaborative control. Like, I think that there's like, for people who work in all the different kinds of disciplines, like, you know, you're like, oh, if this other person edited my work, or this other person designed my work, or whatever it is, and sometimes that's like exactly what you want, and sometimes you're like, I just want to like start now and get it out next week. And granted, this doesn't take us a week, but it took us closer to a week than it might have to put out an anthology of like comics about comics, or like whatever this could have been. Yeah. I also think that there's so many times where I read intros to like anthologies, or I see people introducing their short films or whatever, and it's that like, this is a piece of a bigger thing, this isn't complete, and you're like, why didn't you finish it? Like, why didn't you finish your work before you showed it, or before you published it, or whatever? And like, I think zines offer a way of like being like, this is only supposed to be a little snippet, like this is only like supposed to be a documentation of a conversation, or a funny joke between friends, or like a trip, or whatever your zine is about. Like my time in this band, and like it is a capsule. So I just think it's a good, like, I don't know of a lot of formats that really work for that. Especially with something that's sort of non-linear, because as much as this is like about Alison Bechdel, like it's also just like, oh, this brought up these thoughts for me that I think I share with you, which is like whatever. I also think that like, when I think about us working together, I think about like when you have friends who are really like project driven and who work on lots of different things in different ways with different people, like how often you wind up being like, we should totally make a comic about that, we should totally like make a themed CD about that, we should totally like put on a night about that. But like that, like a single night that's not a series, or like, you know, something like a short zine, like really lends itself to like, okay, there's this like thing that happened, and it's either gonna like continue and get onto paper or onto film or whatever it is, or like onto my blog, or it's gonna go, and it's just gonna be between us. So yeah.
I mean, I also like it because it's a document of a moment. Like, the story situates itself like at this event where we meet Alison Bechdel, but it also is like, it's a collaboration between us, and you're writing about me, and so it's like also this like neat, you're sharing your feelings and you're talking about me, I'm drawing us, it was this one night. It's like, it's also this nice sort of tangible document of our friendship and how we relate to each other, and I like that also, but it does feel like a moment, and so I like what you're saying about